What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome back to MKO Pugilism, aka MKO Boxing, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, give me a follow on TikTok, all that good stuff. So, yeah, let's get into this one. So, a bit of interesting news that's come out recently is that it's not, as I say, it's not set in stone as yet, but we could be getting at some point, I suppose, around the summer, second half of this year, we could be getting Errol Spence Jr. coming out of retirement to face Tszyu. And I believe from this, what I've been hearing, this is a fight that, if it does happen, happens later on in the year and will more than likely take place not in America, but in Australia. So this will mean Errol Spence Jr. having to travel to Australia in order to face Tszyu. Tszyu obviously has been the fighter that's been active. He's suffered violent losses against Fundora, terrible cuts against Fundora. He's been taken out by that Murtazaliev as well, knocked out by him. But he's coming off of a win recently. And of the two of them, he's been the active fighter. He's the guy that's sort of he's the sort of, you could say, informed fighter of the two of them. As far as Errol Spence Jr. is concerned, his last time in a boxing ring, as far as professionally sanctioned bout, was taking a beating off of Terence Bud Crawford. So he hasn't been in the ring for, it's about 3 years now. So, Spence Jr., since that beating by Terence Bud Crawford, he has not been in the ring since then. So it's been 3 years out of the ring, no action for him. As far as I was concerned, I thought he was gone. I thought he was done. He was just sort of retired. There was talk. There's always been whispers and talk about him coming back. But for me, once it got past the sort of 2 year mark, and now it's the third year since he's retired, I thought, well, it's all over. But apparently, it might not be over. So this is it's an interesting one. And what makes it even more interesting is Tszyu is apparently planning to take a fight before the Errol Spence Jr. fight. So he's apparently looking to stay super busy and he's apparently gonna take a fight in not too long from now in the interim, and then go straight into the Errol Spence Jr. fight after that. For me, I find that a bit weird, I suppose, by Tszyu, because if I was in his shoes, I would say you don't really need to take a warm-up fight. What you need to do is get in there with Errol Spence Jr. Now, if you are going to fight him, you fight him now. And the best time to beat an Errol Spence Jr. is right now, to be honest with you, because he'll be guaranteed he'll be rusty. It's obviously it's a new weight division for him. He was always sort of boxing most of his career as a welterweight. So if you're gonna catch him, he's been out the ring for 3 years. I don't understand why you wouldn't just say, let's have it now as soon as possible. Let's just go for it. Why this warm-up? I don't understand the warm-up thing, because, again, even as others noted, warm-up could even be, depending on who he fights. If he fights a risky warm-up fight, then that could even be like a banana skin for Tszyu before he gets the Errol Spence Jr. fight. And I think even financially, money-wise, the Errol Spence Jr. fight is going to be, as far as a payday, you're getting a lot more than you would get with probably facing two other guys. So, it's, unless you're facing a big name or something, I'd say just whenever Spence is ready, you fight him then. But as for Errol Spence Jr., Yeah, this is interesting. It's hard to really know what to make of him. The last time he was in the ring, just completely outclassed, outgunned by Terence Bud Crawford, and it was a very bad beating. I mean, the guy, he looked like a fish out of water in there, and ironically, Terence Crawford was wearing the netting thing on his shorts that like gonna catch the fish, whatever. But yeah, he looked like a fish out of water in there. I mean, where he is mentally now, I don't know. When he was boxing, yeah, good fighter, very, very good fighter was Errol Spence Jr. Very tough guy, you know, came forward and he great stamina, energies, you know, just a very, very tough, come forward, high work rate, southpaw, quite technically sound, defensively sound, you know, fundamentally, you know, sound, solid fighter was Errol Spence Jr. But I think now, after all that activity, for me personally, if he goes in and if his first fight now is going straight in with Tszyu, for me, I have to favor Tszyu at this point in their careers, because it's one of those, you're coming in a new way, you're coming off a knockout loss which has never happened to you before. You're coming off of your first loss again. How has he dealt with the fact that he went in there with an O, he lost his O, he didn't come back after it. He had a long, long time out the ring. He's gonna be rusty. Tszyu, whatever you think of him, whether you rate him or you don't rate him, the bottom line is he's a good fighter, and he's been an active fighter. He fights quite a lot. There's a lot of activity going on with him. So for me, going into it, I'd have to favor Tszyu and favor Tszyu big time to beat Errol Spence Jr. And depending how Errol Spence Jr. performs, if he is in any way diminished, I think Tszyu, with the right tactics, might even be able to stop Errol Spence Jr. Because he's coming off of a knockout loss. He's rusty, you know, and we don't know. This is 3 years. 3 years is a long time in a boxing career. It's only a very, very short career, and you haven't been doing any boxing. You just come in fresh. He might be keeping himself in shape for a normal person, but boxing wise, he ain't been in the ring. So I'd go with the informed guy that's at least been active and is a good fighter. And for me, Tszyu beats him, and Tszyu may well be able to stop him if this actually comes off. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Until next time, it's MKO Boxing, over and out.